This year we face a perfect storm in Southern Africa. The El Nino drought gripped a huge part of the population, specifically the poorest of the poor, in a way that is unprecedented in human memory. We've got 1 million children right now that are facing dire consequences because of hunger, sicknesses, and lack of water. There's a layer of people, orphans and grandmothers, that will not survive unless there's intervention. And what is this El Nino pattern, and why is it causing so much devastation in Africa, and specifically Southern Africa at the moment? El Nino is actually, the Spanish word is referring to the Christ child, because it normally occurs over December in South America, and we see this pattern happens every 4 to 7 years. So El Nino in itself is nothing new. But right now, El Nino has caused huge devastation, and very specifically in Africa. And I want to take a few minutes to explain to you why this happened. Why is this year in particular such a disaster year for us? We've had very, very little rainfall. And specifically in Southern Africa, we need rainfall from October, September, October, until February. That's the time where it needs to rain so that we could harvest our staple diet maize. So in that period specifically, we need rain, and it hardly rained. And so this year, there has been a total crop failure of the staple diet maize. But to combine that with last year already, we had a terrible harvest, about 30% of the food that we needed. So not only was there no rain, and we had a total crop failure, but we had soared temperatures constantly in 42 degrees and higher. So we saw that the people in the villages lost all their livestock. The water sources where they got the water from, the wells, the little rivers, the ponds, all dried up. The few that were left are now shared by animals and people, where they together go and share this dirty water, which obviously is creating a huge risk for health in the villages where we are working. Which specific areas are we speaking about when we say that there's a disaster area where Hands at Work is working at the moment, and we desperately need to get involved to protect our children and caregivers? Well, first of all, we speak about Malawi. Malawi, for the second year in a row, went through a total crop failure. Just south of Malawi, Mozambique, one of the worst heat areas in Southern Africa. Mozambique is going through a very, very tough drought. Right on the left-hand side and the western side of Mozambique is Zimbabwe. South of Zimbabwe is South Africa and Swaziland. These countries are the hardest hit by this El Nino weather pattern. And the economists forecast that the food price would go up with as much as 70%. Now you can imagine, with the food price going up with about 70%, the villages where we are working in as Hands at Work are in serious trouble. They do not have any bargaining power. They do not have anything to sell. While I was in Zimbabwe and the people in the villages sharing with me, I heard of many, many more families becoming very vulnerable, as they would say, overnight. When we look at this picture, we see that the earliest possible harvest would be in the end of the first quarter in 2017. From now until May, June in 2017, in the earliest time, our children, our grandmothers are very vulnerable. And we've got to provide a relief program. We're not always sure what it means. In some villages, there's no water at all. So even if they have food, they don't have water. So Hands at Work at the moment is busy doing assessment to find out in which areas what can we do. And this is why we appeal to you to be part of it. It's not just a drought as people would experience in North America, where times are tough, but they still got water, they still got shops and food. The difference here is, in this drought that we have, it's affecting every aspect of their lives. And the villages are coming to a standstill. And we, of course, caring for the most vulnerable people in those villages. And unless Hands at Work initiate a relief program with global support, they're not going to survive.